to break into his ex-girlfriend's apartment.
2 construction workers were killed in a home collapse due to high winds from severe storms.
And a tentative trial date is set for former President Donald Trump in the hush money trial case involving an adult film star actress.
While it was fairly quiet over the crossroads, we had a lot of activity in Austin, Huntsville, and tonight up in the Panhandle. Where's all that stuff going? We'll be taking a look at it and have your 7-day forecast coming up.
And Faith Academy is planning on hosting a summer and strength and conditioning camp. That's coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. And we have some breaking news here. An Amber Alert, a child abduction in Houston, a tan late model Subaru Forester. Look out for that. Victim was 14-year-old white female Marisol Avila, who was last seen wearing a black shirt, blue jeans, and black shoes. Unknown suspect. Call 911 with information.
That's right. Now here in Victoria, just before 6 p.m. this evening, a box truck flipped over after the driver lost control over the vehicle. The driver, a 56-year-old female, overcorrected the vehicle after its right wheels got caught in the grass. This caused the truck to roll 90 degrees to the left and slide onto the grass. The vehicle didn't hit anything to cause it to flip, but the driver wasn't hurt. She was taken to the hospital out of precaution.
On February 13th, the community health systems let their hospitals know, including DeChar Hospital, some patient data was exposed as a result of a security breach involving Fortra's Go Anywhere platform. That's a third-party vendor that facilitates secure file transfers. They've notified those affected, and they're offering identity restoration and credit monitoring services at no cost. The toll-free response line is 800-906-7947. Last night, Victoria Police responded to a disturbance at an apartment complex at the Silver Mine Apartments, 6803 North Navarro Street. Early reports indicated a man was knocking on the door at his ex-girlfriend's apartment, trying to break in around 10:15 p.m. The woman hid in the bathroom while talking with a 911 dispatcher.
Yeah, and this is when the Victoria Police Department officers confronted 21-year-old Jordan Paul Martinez. He's charged with assault by contact and burglary of a habitation with the intent to commit an assault.
This afternoon in Howesville, during a traffic stop on the 1400 block of East 4th Street, police arrested 21-year-old Michael Anthony Garcia of El Campo. Garcia was wanted on a felony warrant out of Fort Bend County on charges of possession of a controlled substance. The Texas Tribune is reporting that Attorney General Ken Paxton is calling on House Speaker Dade Phelan to resign. He's accusing the Republican House Speaker of being over his chamber in a, quote, state of apparent debilitating intoxication, unquote. This after a video clip went viral showing Phelan slurring his words while he oversaw House floor proceedings Friday night. Phelan's defenders noted he appeared to speak normally before and after the viral clip. However, Phelan's office did not immediately respond to a request for comment on Paxton's remarks. 2 bills aimed at increasing state authority over Harris County elections, given preliminary approval in the Texas House of Representatives.
That's right. Now they're waiting for a full approval by the House before they head to the governor's desk. And so this brings us to your viewer poll tonight. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, should the state oversee Harris County elections? Yes or no? We take a look at these results, and 46% say yes, 54% stand at no. Those are
That's a
Yeah.
reversal from 6 o'clock when it was 52-48 yes.
I always love seeing interactive results like that. Well, thank you for voting tonight. Visit us tomorrow for our latest viewer poll.
Goliad County flooding not as severe as expected last week. The Goliad Advance Guard reports the San Antonio River exceeded its banks at the Goliad State Park and Historic Site, causing the closure of the paddling trail dock and other areas. Goliad State Park Superintendent Jared Ramirez said the river crested on May 15th at 27.6 feet. The park had to close a picnic area, the San Antonio River Trail, Vaquero Camping Loop, and Longhorn Camping Loop.
And severe storms sprang up this afternoon, snapping power lines and tree limbs and causing a deadly building collapse in Conroe. A home under construction collapsed due to high winds after 3 p.m. 2 workers were killed and several others were hurt in this collapse. 7 victims were taken to an area hospital, but there's no further word on their conditions for now.
And let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez. And so far as I've read, Mac, they have not used the word tornado in reference to this situation in Conroe.
Yeah, unfortunately, they have to look at the debris in the field as to determine whether it was a tornado or just a strong downburst. My feeling is that it was a downburst, and you can have that when the storm builds up real tall and then collapses. So it's a downburst wind and caused all those problems. And of course, it was more widespread than just Conroe. It was Huntsville, Montgomery County, all those places lost trees and shingles and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, for us here, we're at 76 tonight. Fairly light winds, lots of sunshine for today, but all around us, there's all kinds of stormy weather. We'll be taking a look at that coming up in just a moment. Back to you.
Mac, thank you. A new report by the World Meteorologist Organization is putting a tally on the damage caused by extreme weather and climate change. Over the past half-century, more than 2 million people were killed in extreme weather events. Close to 12,000 of those events were tallied, causing $4.3 trillion in damages, with most economic damage happening right here in the U.S., totaling to $1.7 trillion. The organization has warned about the impact of man-made climate change, saying rising temperatures have increased the frequency and intensity of extreme weather. An investigation into the disappearance of a British toddler continues 16 years later.
Police in Portugal are now conducting a new search near the area where she disappeared in 2007.
Madeleine McCann would have turned 20 this month. Her family last saw her when she was 3. She disappeared in 2007 during a family holiday in the Algarve region of Portugal. She was with her younger twin siblings while her parents were dining with friends nearby in the resort of Praia da Luz. The mystery of her disappearance gripped many across the UK, Portugal, and Germany. On Tuesday, Portuguese police, at the request of German authorities, will search a reservoir near the Portuguese city of Silves, around 50 kilometers from Praia da Luz. Over the past 16 years, police have searched numerous wells and properties in the area, including this one, which was searched in 2008. It is unclear whether it's connected to Christian Bruckner, the German suspect first named in the case in 2020. Bruckner, a convicted sex offender, lived in the Algarve between 1995 and 2007 in an apartment about a mile away from the resort where the McCanns were staying. He's in prison in Germany for the rape and murder of a 72-year-old woman committed in Portugal at the same resort. He has not been charged in McCann's disappearance and denies any involvement. But one German prosecutor said he believes she was killed by Bruckner.
What makes you so certain that Madeleine McCann is dead?
We have some evidence for this. We have no forensic evidence, but we have other evidence.
Her family cling on to the hope that she could still be alive.
No parent's going to give up on their child unless they know for certain their child's dead, and that we just don't have any evidence.
Scott McLean, CNN, London.
Governor Greg Abbott met with former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson today. The former Prime Minister made a trip to the state and met with Governor Abbott at the state capitol in Austin. They discussed economic developments in their meeting, but not much is known on what else that entailed. Boris Johnson was already in the state after meeting with former President George W. Bush on Monday, where they discussed maintaining Western support for Ukraine in their fight against Russia. Former President Trump appeared virtually in a New York courtroom today in the hush money criminal case involving adult film actress Stormy Daniels. Now, today's hearing was about what rules around what he can or cannot do with the case's evidence.
That's right. Meanwhile, the judge has ordered Trump to stand trial in another legal case. That date is set for March 25th, 2024.
Former President Trump appearing remotely to make sure he understands the protective order in the hush money criminal case against him. Trump was told by the presiding judge to not disclose, copy, or otherwise disseminate any of the discovery from the Manhattan DA's office on social media. The protective order is not a gag order, and Trump is not prohibited from speaking about the case, but he can only discuss what is already public.
In theory, if he were to break this protective order, he could be held in contempt of court.
Prosecutors say they are worried that Trump would try to intimidate witnesses by publicly posting information about the case. Shortly before he was indicted, Trump warned on Truth Social of potential death and destruction if Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg were to file charges. Both the judge and the DA have received threats. In March, Trump was indicted on charges related to a hush money payment made to porn actress Stormy Daniels, made to help his 2016 presidential run, and for allegedly falsifying business documents to help cover it up.
That is a scheme to buy and suppress negative information to help Mr. Trump's chance of winning the election.
But the former president has attacked the Manhattan District Attorney's motives.
This fake case was brought only to interfere with the upcoming 2024 election.
He pleaded not guilty during his April arraignment. The judge ordered Trump to stand trial on those charges on March 25th of next year. Alexis Christoforous, ABC News, New York.
Join us Monday, June 5th for Storm Prep 2023 at 6:30 p.m. The show airs right here on KAVU TV.
That's right. You can see how hospitals prepare for hurricane season and what they do when their facilities anticipate power issues. We hope you'll join us.
And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. 2 inmates escaped from a state prison in Ohio.
Also ahead, the U.S. Surgeon General issued a warning about the effects of social media on children.
Hi, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs with the Victoria Police Department. Victoria Crime Stoppers is requesting information in the hit-and-run death of Deanna Pagel. Pagel's body was found on March 13, 2015 at approximately 5:20 a.m. in the roadway of the 800 block of Southeast Street. Her injuries were consistent with being struck by a vehicle. Pagel was 52 years old at the time of her death. Pagel was also known as White Girl Faye. If you have any information about Pagel's death, please call Victoria Crime Stoppers at 572-4200 or submit a tip by using the P3 Tip app on your Android or Apple device, or by visiting our website at www.crimestoppersvictoria.com. All tips are anonymous, and if you give information that leads to an arrest or charges being filed, you could earn a cash reward. With the Victoria Police Department, this is Detective Kelly Gibbs.
Two Ohio inmates escaped today from a state prison. 47-year-old James Lee was in on a burglary and safe cranking charges, while 50-year-old Bradley Gillespie was jailed on a murder charge. Both men escaped from the Allen Oakwood Correctional Institution. The Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections said the two inmates should be considered dangerous.
In Illinois, a man is facing federal charges after authorities say he attempted to set fire to the site of a future women's clinic over the weekend. The incident happened around 4:30 a.m. Saturday. The 73-year-old filled his vehicle with containers of gasoline and drove into the future site of that women's clinic. He was arrested and charged with terroristic threat, burglary, attempted arson, and criminal damage to property exceeding $10,000. He's scheduled to appear in federal court this afternoon.
Today, there's a new warning about social media and its impact on children and teens' mental health.
The U.S. Surgeon General says long-term effects are still unknown, and he's calling on companies for more health and safety standards.
General sounding the alarm on social media's influence on kids and teens' mental health. In a new advisory, Dr. Vivek Murthy urging tech companies for more transparency in research, saying they've been barriers to our understanding of the full health impacts. According to Dr. Murthy, 95% of teens and 40% of kids aged 8 to 12 use social media where they are often exposed to harmful and extreme content. Teens use these popular platforms on average 3.5 hours a day, according to the Surgeon General. And while some use can be beneficial for some young people as a source of connection, information, and support, his office estimates teens spending more than 3 hours a day on social media double their risk for developing symptoms of depression and anxiety.
Each and every parent understand how the social media sites work, especially the parental controls. You have to know how Snapchat and all these other apps work in order to be able to use them and to help your children navigate them.
Medical experts suggest families should consider creating social media free zones, foster in-person communication, and have real discussions about the permanence of posting online. The advisory suggests having more knowledge and information from tech companies about social media could help us understand how much use is actually safe, a standard the Surgeon General says is often applied to other consumer products marketed for youth, from toys to medicine.
Most social platforms have a minimum age requirement of 13 years old, but the Surgeon General believes that is still too early. Tim Pulliam, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Nearly 1 year after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, Planned Parenthood is laying off employees. Union leaders say they were told between 10 and 20% of the national staff would be cut. Planned Parenthood says it will direct more of its resources to affiliates at this local level, particularly in states who banned abortion, and to help patients who are traveling from places with bans. The layoffs are expected sometime in mid-June.
Well, good evening, everyone. While it's quiet down here at the crossroads, North Texas is under the gun. It just had a little bit of a tornado warning just outside of Abilene. This activity continues to propagate or to move toward the east. And then we'll talk about what happened in Huntsville today with that big old downpour that occurred there. All that coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned. Well, good afternoon, or no, it's much later than that. Good evening, everyone. Hope you had a good afternoon. Looking at 76 degrees right about now. We got up to 91 today, and here's the funny part. Our average or seasonal temperature, 30-year average for this date in May, is 89. So what does that tell you? It's going to be getting warmer very soon. We're now at seasonal temperatures, which is okay. I'm certain that last Memorial Day, it was just brutally hot, but hopefully it won't be this hot this year. We had a lovely day, lots of sun, no major problems, a few little clouds, a little warm, but that's okay. Tonight, big thunderstorms rolling out of the Panhandle again and out into southwest Texas. And of course, we had a big storm in Austin that produced a big downpour, and the one over Huntsville. Let's do Huntsville first. I'm going to recycle this a bit. This is what we call a pulse thunderstorm. Then we've got the heating. It pops up, grows very tall, and then just collapses back down. When it collapses back down, it can cause a big downburst right about there, and I believe that's what it was. Tomorrow morning, they're going to go out, look at the debris field to see if it was a tornado or not. Needless to say, I mean, there was damage all over the place. Huntsville, not only with the flooding, but a lot of trees got knocked down, a lot of shingles were blown off, probably 75-mile-an-hour winds as that whole column of cool air came down. Now, tonight, much later in the day, you can see these big thunderstorms developing and rolling through, well, pretty much Abilene right about now, all the way down to San Angelo. This stuff is going to keep going. It's already now energizing itself, so as the warm air comes in, then it goes up, and cold air comes down, and then you get these convective currents. So this one is probably going to get as far as the I-35 corridor by later tonight, certainly by morning. One of the models that I use is saying that it's coming in this direction. But let's just take a look at it. Like, watch this. Tuesday, 10 o'clock. That's right about now. Thunderstorms. Oops, they get real close to our area, right about there. They're decreasing, they're falling apart. It's obviously going to be dark, but it does have the debris field moving through us. Wednesday, and we're looking at in the morning, no major problems. Wednesday afternoon, another big line of storms follows and forms and then moves eastward. So this is kind of why we have this low-grade chance of a shower or two coming through our area over the next week. By and large, in the 90 percentile, we're going to be sunny, warm, humid, and temperatures hovering around 90 degrees. But I have to keep watching out to the west to make sure that stuff stays there. Taking you to the other side of the world, this is the Western Pacific. This is China over here. Tonight, I wind up knowing a lot of Navy guys, especially because I was in Corpus for a few years. They should know that a powerful typhoon called Maywar is going to roll over Guam tomorrow morning with 150, 160 mile-an-hour winds. This is going to be one of the top storms in intensity to roll through that area. After that goes through, it's going to probably head toward Taiwan, but that would be a little bit later on. Tonight, stormy weather in the Panhandle. Stormy weather moving southeast, so hopefully it'll fall apart before it gets to our neighborhood. If not, watch early in the morning, and Trey will have the latest. Partly cloudy, 90 tomorrow, 20% chance for something popping in the late afternoon hours. But overall, I think we've got a pretty good looking Memorial Day weekend coming up. That's your 7-day forecast. We have a QR code. Want you to scan that with your phone and put Crossroads Today app on your cell phone. And now here's Gino.
Thanks, Mac. We see which East baseball stars won awards this season. That's coming up after the break. At Crossroads, the Faith Academy Cougars are going to host a summer camp and off-season strength and conditioning program. The program is for boys and girls entering the 6th through the 12th grade with a purpose of making each athlete bigger, faster, stronger, and to bond together. There are also forms for boys and girls basketball camps along with softball and volleyball camps as well. The cost for each camp varies from $50 to $150 per athlete, depending on how many students from each family will be participating. If you would like to sign up, go to our website at crossroadstoday.com for a list of the different programs. Other than the Cougar Strength and Conditioning Program, all are open to the public. 6 Victoria East Titan baseball athletes are celebrating with new awards that they won at the ceremony. The Big Stick Award, meaning the top offensive player, went to Xavier Ortega. The top pitcher for the Titans went to Gage Goldman. The Golden Glove of the infield went to Kason Coley, who was also the academic scholar as well. The Gold Glove of the outfield went to Ryan Steele. The Justin Surratt Hart Award went to Joey Lee. And last but not least, the MVP of the season went to Hunter Barros. The boys' state golf state competition came to an end today and one Crossroads athlete competed. In the 2-day competition, Yorktown golfer Cameron Willis shot a 97 both days for a total of 194. As a sophomore, he finished in 59th place, and this was his second year making it to state, but first time as an individual. Retirement could be on the table for LeBron James. After 20 incredible years in the NBA, James has added to speculation that he could finally be retiring. It comes after the Los Angeles Lakers were swept by the Denver Nuggets Monday in the Western Conference Finals. After the game, James told reporters, quote, "We'll see what happens going forward with the game of basketball. I've got a lot to think about," end quote. Despite the team's elimination from the NBA playoffs, James's Game 4 performance showed he could easily continue his career if he wanted to. The 38-year-old played all 48 minutes, scored 40 points, grabbed 10 rebounds, and dished out 9 assists. And lastly, golf legend Tiger Woods has withdrawn from the next month's U.S. Open at Los Angeles Country Club as he recovers from a recent surgery. The U.S. Golf Association's announcement comes after the 47-year-old Woods missed last week's PGA Championship. He hasn't played at the U.S. Open since 2019. Woods last competed at the Masters in April, but withdrew before resumption of the weather delay in the 3rd round. He pulled out due to a re-aggravation of his plantar fasciitis, a tissue inflammation that causes pain in the heel. It's not clear if he will play in the 4th and final major of the year, the Open Championship in England in July. That's your sports. Don and Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Cheeto. Now stay with us. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, the Florida governor plans to announce his run for presidency.
Ron DeSantis plans to announce his 2024 presidential campaign in a Twitter Spaces event with Elon Musk Wednesday. Musk confirmed the news today in London. He said DeSantis would be making, quote, quite an announcement, unquote, on Twitter on Wednesday. He called it the first time something like this is happening on social media with real-time questions and answers. DeSantis is seen as Donald Trump's leading rival for the 2024 GOP nomination. Netflix starting to crack down on users who share passwords despite not living together. All right, hold it down, hold it down. It alerted subscribers today. The streaming service offered two alternatives. They can transfer a profile to a new member and pay for them, or add an extra member for about $8 a month. Netflix says it allowed password sharing to fuel growth, which led to some 100 million households doing so. Now it wants to focus on its revenue. I wonder if they're going to do a show, a drama on, Netflix. That'd be great.
Think of the drama and the turmoil in families when they can't share a password.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
I mean, think
It's
of it.
just-
But I'm your son, Dad. Why can't I have your password? Why do you want me to pay for an extra thing?
My question is, how are they going to crack down on this? How would, would it be like an IP thing?
You know, they'll figure that
Yeah.
out. They'll figure that out. Can't solve medical mysteries, but they can figure that one out. Well, folks, we've got a slight chance of a shower popping in the afternoon. Not so much here, but coming at us from the west, where there are going to be a lot of storms. Otherwise, just plain old sunny, hot and humid as we get to about 90 degrees all the way through the Memorial Day weekend.
Alrighty, Mac, thank you. Now, HBO Max has officially transformed into a new service called Max. Much of the content is the same, but it also includes programming from Discovery-owned networks. This is due to Discovery and Warner Media merging last year. Subscribers to HBO Max will be greeted by a new look and new content automatically when they log in. Discovery Plus users will have to upgrade if they want Max, or they can just remain with just Discovery Plus content. You know, I actually tried to log into my HBO today to watch some Fresh Prince, and I saw that.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Oh, yeah.
1989?
Oh, yeah, they have the whole show on there. I love the reruns. I love it. But I saw the Max, and I was taken back a little bit, but I mean, what can you do?
They change things.
That's right. Well, thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10. Remember, we're streaming 24/7 on Crossroads Today Plus.
Join us for Sunrise at 5 a.m. Good night, everybody.